Blackballed. 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 Blackballed.
What is up, everybody? My name is James D. Fiore, and this is Blackballed. Even though before I start every single show and I do the intro that you are hearing right now and never write any words down when I do it, I still know what I'm supposed to be talking about. Tonight, I don't have that problem because I have decided to do a call-in show for no apparent reason, except that I didn't have a guest to book tonight, and I would like to do more shows on my own. So instead of doing a show on my own, I'm doing it with Ryan and several strangers who I only know over the internet. And now I can't. Oh, there he is, Ryan. Ryan, you put a hoodie on.
I put a hood on. That vibe, that music was going, and I thought maybe I'd put a hood on.
I thought you were like a child star trying not to get recognized.
I am a child. Nowhere near a star, but I've got the first part down.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. You remember Corey Feldman? Remember that little?
Oh yeah, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman especially. Did you ever notice that when he got old, when a camera was on him, he always had the look on his face that said this: "I'm going to be famous again, God damn it! I know it." Like he was, he loved it. Like that's all he cared about was that camera. It was so weird.
Constantly.
His reality show was just him acting badly for an entire series.
I know.
It really was.
I noticed you are the absolute opposite. When you do your intro, you can't look at the camera.
I'm like Stevie Wonder, except I'm not black, blind, or talented at playing instruments. But
so you're absolutely just like him. Fuck, like dead.
Yeah. Brother from a different mother, man. And I'm telling you, like, no, but like, you know what I mean? Like I because you know what it is?
What's that?
I can't look at the dot that is the camera and connect. So either I'm going to look at the screen at the person I'm interviewing, or I'm going to literally just like close my eyes and just pontificate about whatever without having to look at shit. I feel like I lose like 10% of whatever the fuck I have by looking at the little dot. It's just the way I am.
I have a problem, and what I'll do is people that are watching, I'll put it on Twitter afterwards. I'll actually take a screenshot, a selfie from here, not a selfie, but a picture of what I look at when I'm doing the show. And I've had this problem ever since I started doing this because I use an off PC camera. Like I use an actual like mirrorless digital.
Yeah, you have that adapter thing, right?
I have a good camera, right? So, but the problem is actually setting it where it's supposed to be. So when you watch me on the Dean Blundell show, you'll notice it looks like I'm not paying attention. It's because
I just figured that you're half in the bag all the time.
And I'm half drunk, but I'm usually paying attention to the guests. But the camera is so off the screen from where I see the guest. Like I'm looking at the camera right now.
Yeah.
I can't see you. I can't do
that. I can't do that.
So now I'm looking at you.
It's a known fact that only sociopaths can actually do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll take a picture here, and I'll put this out on Twitter. Actually, I'll do it right now. So if you're actually watching live right now, you can actually go look, and you'll see what I see. And it's
I don't know how you do that, man. Honestly, in fact, I feel so strongly about it being bad for me that I'm going to advise you, without having any expertise at all in advising podcast hosts, to don't do that. I bet you'll find like, you know,
I try not to look. The only time you'll ever catch me actually staring into the iris of my camera is when Lachlan is going off, because it's like I don't have to look at him to soak that in. So it's fantastic.
Well, he's like a sitting lullaby, you know, when he tells his long stories. It's like it's slow, it's got good pace.
Yeah.
But you kind of feel like you're about to be served cream of corn and get your daily meds. So
He's got a great story actually about the Hutterites. Speaking of cults, you always talk about cults. You know the
Do
Hutterites?
I know them?
Okay, so the Hutterites out in
yeah.
Alberta, I guess they used to trade like actual like wives, like sister wives for bags of dried peas.
That's a pretty good deal.
When you said cream corn, I thought that was pretty close. You actually almost got him there, so it's not bad.
Dried peas. That's better than canned peas.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
I'd give away my wife for a can of. Oh no.
So you want to do a call in, and I heard you and David talking about this, and you guys want to talk to your audience, and I love the idea.
Well, I don't like the idea in theory because it seems cheesy, right? Like it kind of seems like You know
what? There's one thing we can take, and if there's anything we can take from traditional mainstream media. And actually, Lachlan and I have had discussions about this. Is anytime you can, like, you're getting a bit of how the sausage is made at what we do when I talk about this, but anytime you can actually touch the audience and you can actually interact and you can actually have that, and we do it on Twitter, yeah, of course, but that's like totally, fuck, who cares? It's Twitter. But when you can actually have a face-to-face conversation, and it's hard when we do what we do, or even on the phone, like when somebody calls into it. Think about when you were a kid and you called into a radio station, you actually got on. You probably still remember that today, right? So
I don't remember the first time, but I was one of those dudes that knew when I was 15. I'm like, there's a strategy here.
Yeah,
I know how to
win this.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so I've been on like CNN call-in shows where I just turn it into like, I don't remember what it was, but I called in like it was like the CNN show that they had. It was like the breakfast television of CNN or something. Yeah. And I was 22 and I was stupid, like I was arrogant, totally different than how I am now.
Yeah.
And just kidding. I'm pretty but I was like
pretty fucking arrogant
like,
now, but
unbridled, no direction, James, who was arrogant and didn't give a fuck. So it's like whatever I am now, that flaw times a million, right? And anyway, so there was someone talking, and it was about the United States and whether or not they can deal with this politically. And I called in. I said I was like the president of some NGO, and I just wasn't, right?
Like Captain Jenks.
Yeah, something like that. And I called and I got on the air, and then I'm kind of rambling about whether or not there's enough public money going to the right things. Blah, blah, blah. And then I stop and I'm like, but you want to know what the real problem is? And the host is like, tell us. Like, no other country outside of America likes America. And she was like, what? What did he just say? And the crowd didn't know what to do. You can hear a producer's
head exploding in the background.
And one guy clapped, and it was this like black dude, and he was just like, that's right. And then they hung up on me, those bastards.
It's hilarious how they used to trust it. Like back in the day when they first started doing things like you say with CNN, and that's what made like guys like Howard Stern so popular and so funny, was when you would get on the air and say you were an ambassador for some country and like get through an entire spiel. Like that guy, he's a real guy, that Captain Jenks. I'm not kidding. And if you look him up on YouTube, some of the shit that he was the one that did when OJ was with Al Cowlings, and he phoned, I see OJ and he looks scared. That guy. And it was Al Michaels. Al Michaels, this is a totally farcical call. Like it was like they took it so seriously, but it became part of like actual history, like filmed history of it was.
Dude, I was watching the Knick game. I was a Knick fan. I was like, before the Raptors existed, I was a massive fucking Knick fan. And I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden there's a Bronco. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I not see Patrick Ewing, falter in the playoffs? Like, what's happening? I need to see this so I can.
And but that was when you could get away. That was the golden age of pranking news station, right? Or
it was.
Pranking. And now everybody's got call screeners and
dude,
15-second delays.
I'm gonna go to my first guy, my first caller. I don't know if it's a guy or girl. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
But I just want to like tell a quick story on that, because when you have no money and you're in your 20s and you're arrogant and you have ADHD, you just like, you do a bunch of like weird off the wall shit. So I used to find ways to get into places for free. Right.
Yeah.
And I realized how do I boil down this strategy to do this where I can do it to any event? And the answer is business card. That is the answer.
Oh yeah. You're so official when you have a business card.
Well, you're also very official if your business card says the name and has the logo of the core sponsor, right? And you're like just a random vice president. And I used to go into TIFF. I used to go on the internet and be like, okay, Ford is the sponsor. I used to make like 10 business cards with the vice president of Ford marketing, right? I get to the TIFF gala like 2 hours early and be like, you know what? I don't want to drive tonight. So I left my wallet and license at home, but here's my business card. And they would just give me like the God pass, right? And then I would just use the God pass. So I did that like countless events, like 50 events. I once got caught with a guy whose name I had on a lanyard that I got made at a marketing conference. I got a $10,000 ticket to this event because I made small talk with a guy in a lobby. We exchanged business cards. Then I took his business card, impersonated him, said I forgot my briefcase in the cab and I need another lanyard, and got another lanyard. So I had my $10,000 pass for the thing. Anyways, it was fun.
Our producer is here, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you control who goes on? Can you be my
I can be that guy. I'll be the call screener.
Oh, hey.
A caller on the line is Rookie calling from Milton. Rookie.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Rookie. What's your question here on Blackballed tonight?
I was just looking to get some fatherly advice from two dads.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
That's right. You are a brand new dad, aren't you?
That's right. Look at it.
I am.
Look at him. Look how tired he looks. Of course he is. He looks so tired. He's like Steve Buscemi's dad. Look at him.
He's actually doing okay. Look at him.
I'm
you having a good time?
Great.
Yeah.
You look
great. It's great. He's awesome. Everything's good so far. He's sleeping. He's eating. It's been a while since I've even like talked to anybody in the network and come on a show or Dean show because he sleeps through all Dean shows. Because I'm not going to wake him up.
So it's most of the audience, really.
Well, kids often, as a self-defense mechanism, will go to sleep if they hear awful things in the background, right? Like, it happens.
Yeah. And to be fair, like he sleeps and then eats in the evening, so I have more free time in the evening. But Dean shows during the day, so I can't even. There's no way I can come on the show, especially with the kid.
Why don't you bring the kid on?
Good, guys. He's currently
on Dean's show, like during the day.
Yeah. Oh, you don't explain.
He literally sleeps. He literally sleeps during every show.
Can I ask you a question, Rook?
Yeah, please.
Because this is one of the ingredients to a house that's doing okay after a birth of a baby. Is the breastfeeding going okay? And I honestly mean that. Like, is she okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because some women have trouble, and it creates a whole thing. You know,
the dairy farm is open.
My wife was like the star of the maternity wing. The nurses would be like, "This is crazy." Like, she was just, milk was always coming out. Like, if she went like this, she'd be like, you remember the girls with the bullets in their nipples in that movie, whatever it was, that movie,
Fembots?
That one.
Yeah, the Fembots.
Yeah,
she was like a sprinkler. Anyways, she didn't mind me saying this. I'm certain.
Austin Powers. There you go.
No, dude, it's going really well. Lots of production. We were at a wedding for her sister a week and a half to 2 weeks after we had the baby. So my mom had to come babysit in Stratford. So we gave her some formula just to supplement, but then she ended up using breast milk because we weren't bringing the baby around 150 people.
That was your ticket to get out of the event, though, if you just wanted to leave, right?
It was her sister. It was her twin. Okay. Like, we had to go. She was the maid of honor.
Can you open with that next time?
So,
wait. I was half listening. Did you say your mom was breastfeeding your baby? What was going on?
No, we left it for her. We left her a bunch, like frozen.
Yeah.
But I got formula just in case, and we haven't really needed it.
It's good. Honestly,
that's awesome.
That's a building block to good psychological health for mummies and daddies after the birth.
And he's sleeping 6 hours a night.
You know what? My daughter was like that. My kid, right from get-go, was a full sleeper, and we used to hate telling our friends about it. That had kids were like, "Oh, I'm up all fucking night," blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, that sucks, eh?"
Yeah, I honestly, I could totally get what you're saying, because at the wedding,
you feel guilty.
A couple of my wife's friends who had a little bit of a tougher time, and they're like, "How's everything going?" I wasn't gonna lie about it. Yeah. No, I was like, awful. Great. He's sleeping. He's eating.
That's great.
I'm doing the overnight feeds if there is one.
Yeah.
So, and my wife sleeps because she needs the rest more than I do, and I can function on low sleep anyways. So
You
it's
always
all
do.
good, boys. I'd
That's
love to bring him
awesome.
over here, but I can't because he's feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck.
No, just yeah.
You
We'll
guys don't
get
even
kicked
want to
off
see me
YouTube
anymore.
if you do that.
That's right.
Well, that was funny because I told James, I was texting with James the other day. He was asking how things were going, and I had the baby taped to my chest, and I was twerking with the baby.
Yeah.
And James was like, "For God's sakes, man!" Because I came downstairs and I saw my wife, and there was Christmas music playing, so I just started twerking with the baby, and obviously his head's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh."
Yeah.
And James,
Fine. He just can't
and
do
James
math
is like,
anymore.
"Yeah, like he has no head control, so maybe you should stop twerking with your child."
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
It's like,
Well,
and I was like, "Never."
thankfully, you're a white guy, so the twerking was probably just minimal, right?
It was
Like,
bobbing. It was basically a squat.
yeah.
That's awesome, Rookie. I'm so glad. I'm so
So
glad.
everything's good. I saw you guys were doing this and saw James didn't have a guest. So I was like, I'm going to just hop on as quick as I can to give just at least some form of an update to some portion of our audience because people have been DMing and asking. So
Well, I'm
Yeah,
going to clip it and put it out on the socials anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, Ryan, without any consent, he did it without consent. He put up the a tweet that was just like, what did the tweet say? Hey, James is a fucking weirdo, and let's go do it. Like, I can't remember, but it was.
I said you're a glutton for punishment because you want to
That's
do a
not
call-in
true.
show.
I'm not a glutton for.
You are a
punishment.
glutton for punishment. You're absolutely a glutton.
Only in certain situations, which you will probably never be involved with, Ryan. But no, I'm not a glutton for punishment. I'm really not.
Depends on the night, I guess.
I guess.
I'll go, and what
Wanna
I'll do
see
is
it?
I'll take the restream link and I'll put it on our company Twitter and just let everybody come in.
No.
Let you guys-
No.
So I'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll have 85 people on the side. We'll crash the stream.
We've
And
got a
I'm just
few.
gonna
We've
post
got a
it to
few in
FedLife
the
and
green
see
room
what
right
happens.
now. Yeah.
so yeah, I'll let them talk, but I'm gonna go burp the child and have a great show, guys.
Is that what you call it now?
Burp the child.
That's what I
Dude,
call it too.
There's something so wrong about that. I feel Catholic. What are you guys doing?
See you,
Don't say
Rookie.
baptism. Don't say
Bye,
baptism.
guys. Thanks.
Love you, pal.
See you, man.
Oh, that's
Okay.
funny.
All right.
Huh.
How about let's
Good for
go
him.
to,
Congratulations, Rook.
yeah, congratulations, Rook. It is true. Like he's I know what to say to new dads. And mostly it's this. Try not to want to murder the people that bug you about not getting sleep.
That's always the first question, and it's annoying as fuck.
Yeah. Drop off
You
your
know what?
fucking
So if you-
casserole and leave.
Yeah,
You know?
if you know that that's a thing, why are you bringing it up, you piece of shit?
Oh, and they laugh and laugh and laugh, and it's just like
We got more callers.
more.
Yeah, there's a couple of more callers sitting in the green room right now. Let's take it on. I guess it's mobile. This is a mobile road call in. This
Oh,
is
my.
Melissa.
Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How are
Good,
you?
how are you?
I'm doing good. You can hear me okay?
Yes,
No.
we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So I didn't know what button I was pushing when I joined this call. I'm going to blame Ashley. And
You
totally
should.
not that I was trying to read the text while driving. Totally not me.
Don't do that. It's bad enough you have to listen to our voices while driving. That's got to be
It's kind
illegal.
of
Are you
bad.
somewhere.
kidding? That's what got me through the entire Muskokas. So I live in Sudbury, if anybody didn't know that. And I am driving to Kingston today.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Because I'm going to Ontario Area Council. I'm part of my union. So a pretty active unionist, I would call myself. So yeah, it's
So
a drive.
Sudbury to Kingston. What's that?
are you driving
drive
through
like?
the park?
No, I'm going to be doing that on the way home, though, James.
How long?
Six
How long?
6.5 hours.
Yeah. You go
Yeah.
right by me, I think.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I looked it up in the map, and I was like, "Oh my god, I know that name."
Well, you should stop. Everyone needs to stop for a coffee. You should stop. We'll say hi.
Absolutely.
You know what? I
Yeah,
haven't even met
that's
Dean
great.
or Ryan in the flesh.
Yeah, it's
If you're
true.
going to meet me first, see, you're
Yeah.
just going to meet the best of us first, and then
That's
you can
true.
meet the rest of them.
That's true. I agree. I agree.
Well, thanks for calling, Melissa.
What, do you have a
Yeah,
question,
no
Melissa?
problem, guys. I don't actually. Like I said, I pushed the button thinking I was getting your show, not that I was calling in.
Oh,
So-
great. You know, this show is going great. It's the best call-in show. All these questions are robust and substantive. No, you know what? It's totally fine.
I'm
Yeah,
digging this.
it's
I
good
like
talking
this
to you.
relaxed vibe compared to what we normally talk about on this show, which is usually a fucking absolute clusterfuck of a
I
mind-blowing.
think today's show was great.
Oh yeah, no, that's the Dean show. I'm talking about the Blackballed show where we find out every day that someone else is trying to explode our country.
Oh yeah,
At least now we're kind of like
there's certain
chilling out.
shows I can't even listen to.
Hey,
yeah.
There's some
don't
of them
say
I
that while
can't
we're on
listen
air, Melissa. You know how I feel about that.
to. I know, but like they're scary
Right.
and they make me feel bad. So
Yeah.
I hear about them through other people though.
They're evoking emotion. That's, you know,
A lot
That is a
of
big part.
emotion. It is.
sure, it might be
And you do
homicidal
great
rage.
shows,
but-
James. You really do.
All
All right,
okay.
guys. I'm going to keep driving, and
I'll see you
will
in an
try
hour.
to.
I'll see you
Yeah,
in-
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Drive
no
safe.
problem, guys. Yeah,
Good
thank
luck.
you.
Get there safely. That's
Okay.
that's cool. So that we had somebody call from the car. That was kind of neat.
Melissa's like a longtime listener, I think, of the Dean Blundell show, and I think she tunes in still to my. Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we see Melissa in the comments on all the shows.
That is true.
So
Okay.
there is another caller that's on the line that I'm actually really, really happy and excited to talk to.
Okay.
We appointed you might remember or know or recognize his name from the comments as DaCosta, but his name is actually Joe.
DaCosta's my homie. I love DaCosta.
That's right.
Really?
See,
Yeah.
there's Joe.
There he is.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not DaCosta though.
I know. I'm kidding.
You fucking dick.
I'm just being an asshole.
Well, you're not
It's
DaCosta.
Joe
then.
Morin.
You know,
Joe
I don't-
Morin.
I don't know.
Oh,
He's not
okay. Yeah, he's
DaCosta.
got to go.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's Joe Morin. Hey, Joe.
It is me. Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
I just wanted to see what the comments would do, and they all thought it was Johnny. There's Johnny.
Yeah.
Why do
They
you
all-
look so
they're all
different?
sad now. I know. Look from what, my photo or?
No, I don't know who you are. I don't think. Who are you?
Joe's in our comments constantly.
Okay.
Constantly comments.
Yeah. Is that your name, Joe, in the comments?
Mm-hmm.
In the comments it'll be Joseph Morin, or Joe
Oh, there you go.
73,
That
depending
I
That's
on-
recognize.
Morin. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
Joseph
said it.
Morin, yes.
I said it
Yeah.
Englishly.
Okay.
My
Good.
bad.
It's okay. We're in Ontario. Everybody's pretty English here.
Where are you
Totally
right now?
get it. In Ottawa.
Ottawa. No
I'm
shit.
in the heart of the beast.
Very cool.
Do you think they were terrorists? The convoy people?
So
So we're gonna ask you
if you
questions,
want
Joe.
to.
Yeah.
You guys can absolutely ask me questions because
Let's let it be organic. You know, whatever happens, happens.
I was at
man.
POEC last week.
Oh, did you?
both
Oh,
on
that's
Thursday
right,
and
you
Friday.
were.
I was at
I
POEC.
was following your Twitter. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was there as well. I was also there with Dina, who has become famous for pretty much calling Tom Marazzo a terrorist to his face. Yeah, she's fun to follow.
Yeah.
It's now.
How was it being in
you-
that room? Was it tense? Because the
I
microphones
still
were
don't know
pretty-
where you were.
He was at the
POEC.
Emergencies Act inquiry.
Oh, okay. Like in the
And-
actual main audience.
Yeah,
or
in the
whatever.
room. So
It was-
the
yeah.
mics were pretty isolated to the people that were speaking, so you couldn't hear the crowd. But there was a few times where the justice did stop and say, "If you don't shut the fuck up, we're going to kick you out."
So that's why I was trying to tweet as much as possible because I knew
Yeah.
people couldn't hear what was going on. So I was trying to tweet as much as possible. It's like, okay, you guys can see what the hell's going on up there, but you guys can't hear what's going on in the audience. I'd be like, okay, the Chuds are right now getting upset because, Trudeau's saying, well, there was some crazy people in the audience, in the crowds, and they're like, oh no, it's all peaceful. I'm like, yeah, Chuds are unhappy or reality or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they were, and it was. So first thing that both Dina and myself were commenting on when we got in there, she had already been in there before, but it suddenly hits you. You see it on the screen, but what you don't realize, that room is much smaller than what it looks like on stream.
How close were you to like the PM, like sitting there with the PM?
We weren't that close to the PM. When we first got there, we were a couple rows back, and then we all got behind the reserved row. There wasn't a reserved row till we got there. Dina was there in the morning when Chrystia Freeland was there, and she sat in the front row. To which a lot of people got upset because it's supposed to be reserved for special guests, and particularly the Tom Marazzo, Tamara Litch, Keith Wilson, pretty much anybody who was part of the legal team or had already sort of testified at the place had access to that particular line. So they were upset at her that she was there. And then this building security came in, and I wish I took a picture of just the sign that they put on all these chairs that wasn't there the entire month or 2 months of the entire inquiry. So that was fantastic.
How was security when Justin was in there? Because I that's one thing I was thinking of was like I thought for sure someone was going to get up and throw a water box of water, bottled box of water at him or something.
I was kind of we were kind of expecting a little bit more of excitement. The security for going in and out of POEC is about the same as going onto an airplane. Metal detectors, emptying your pockets. We had the whole gamut. I made sure not to bring out too much stuff because I knew it was just going to be a pain in the butt. Plus, usually I do streaming of actual, kind of like Karima, I do streaming, but around Ottawa of con fights. Yep. I just didn't bother bringing any of that equipment because there's no point. We're being POC. It's already being live streamed for everything else there. It's more interesting to tweet out what the audience reaction was.
Yeah.
But while we're there, the security was kind of tight. There was kind of the PM Secret Service. In the morning, if you actually watch the POC start, there was if you notice, the commissioner was trying to start up, but there was a bit of confusion as to where Justin Trudeau was. And that's because the security brought him around through a side door, and suddenly, while the commissioner is just about to give a recess, he suddenly appears right in the middle of the room, kind of thing. Just like, hey, I'm here. Let's get things started. It's just off we go.
Total fucking prima donna just showing up like fucking Drake.
Oh, totally. He just walks in. I'm JT, man. This is how we roll. We're good.
Sorry, James.
I just want to say, I don't really care like who's the wrong side in that. I know what I believe, which is that I thought it was kind of a ridiculous, overblown protest. I thought it didn't feel like a protest. It felt weird, and often they didn't have their facts and whatever. But I when I'm watching Chrystia Freeland and Trudeau answer questions, they do look fucking smug, and their answers often suck. Like I would have liked Trudeau to be like this. Listen, on the French show, I did try to like really narrow down the target of my insults to a fringe of the people who are unvaccinated, and they are a very small group. And maybe it was sloppy, but that's who I meant. I didn't mean anyone that wasn't unvaccinated. I think it's important to say that, so thank you. I think he should have been more like that because he did do that many times. And, and I don't want to wear a fuck Trudeau sign, mostly because I'm not gay, but, well, what? It's
true.
It's true.
Fuck Trudeau. Do it. Fuck him.
Do it right now. Especially when you have your little kids holding those signs. That was what got me. That was my stick in my crop.
And they'll still do it too. Yeah. I mean, it's we've had protests where these protesters are going out to go protest against anti-trans out in Renfrew, not too far away from here. We still got them going every Friday and Saturday to Parliament Hill to go do the protests. They'll do the flag wavings. They'll do stuff. And there's usually between 10 to 15 on average. Sometimes they'll have special occasions where they're going to get a couple of groups from outside, either coming in from Peterborough or whatnot, and then they'll grow the group up to around 20, 25. And
what are they protesting?
Good question.
What?
Yeah, we're still wondering that one too.
It always reminds me of that Simpsons episode where they go to an outside shot of the White House and all the protesters have signs that are like, everything's fine.
Yeah. No problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of they're still protesting for freedom, which I feel is just okay. So what freedom are you looking for right now? Because if it's a freedom to protest, you're doing it. So there's that. There's no mandates. There's no nothing. Don't know what you guys are looking for. If you're just looking for Trudeau to quit, all right. I'm sure he'll do it within the next 10 years. That just tends to be what happens. But what's your end goal and end game? And so it's one of those things I keep trying to sort of, I'm going in there, I'm meeting and talking to these guys. I'm trying to get some more questions in regard to like, what do you guys want now? Like, there's nothing left. I mean, they're still big on the There's I mean there's a couple of them in there that's very much sort of focused in regards to some really deep QAnon conspiracies, and I know I've
Great
mentioned
Reset.
Ryan.
I hear the Great Reset most often from ones that you think are kind of like, oh, he's
Digital
normal.
currencies. Yeah.
Yeah, the big
I don't
one
really
right
want
now.
digital currencies either because I like to hide money from the government, and I don't
When's
know
the
how I'm
last
going to
time
do
you
that with
paid in
digital-
cash for anything?
today.
Really?
I've got
Yeah.
cash in my wallet. I've had there for probably about since before COVID. I haven't
Same
really
here. I've
touched.
got
Yeah.
there's always like $100 in my wallet that I don't even know when it's from, and I'm worried that the bills are going to start just wearing out. My wallet's going to fall apart before the cash does at this point. So
I just don't understand why I have to give the bank money to hold my money. I just don't understand that. So I just,
Yeah.
you know,
It's-
I buy
it is
groceries with my
convenient,
bank card,
though.
but I always have the cash, right? Like, I don't know. I'm old
I get
school.
it.
Plus, I
That's
don't even
fine.
have a credit card. I'm like a child, really, at the end of the day. Like, I've never,
yeah, that's all.
when people used to say they're broke and then they'd be like, fine, I'll put it on my card. Like, when I said I was broke, I'd be like, I don't have a card.
I don't
and
have a card to
I'm
put
broke.
it on. I'm actually broke. Yeah, no, we
And
get
I'm
that
staying
too.
on your
We do it
couch
too.
tonight. Sorry.
And now we all have cards and cash, and we're all still broke. So
It's true.
I noticed Rookie popped back in. Did you want to say anything there, Rook?
Oh, his
You're,
baby probably just dropped a bottle or susu on the keyboard. You know, he's not there.
all right.
Is he there?
No, I don't know. He popped back in out of nowhere, but I'll leave him there if he wants to pop. He can pop himself back in. He's got producer credit here. So
But back to that point there, their biggest conspiracy right now, they seem to be big on is Agenda 2030. This is what I keep hearing about these.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, I had a whole thing where somebody brought me to the side. And I filmed them, and they explained to me that there's pharaohs involved, and there's as the three pillars trying to take over the world, and then all the terrible things they're going to be doing.
yeah.
But this is kind of what I'm kind of looking into and wonder, like, are we starting to slowly see sort of like the like what we saw back at the original convoy are, the majority there of people that were there are starting to move away, and we're now just what's left over are the more far conspiratorial types.
I only have one question, and that is,
Mhm.
are birds real or are they fake? Because they keep telling us that the birds are fake. Do they charge themselves on the telephone lines, or
See, that's bullshit, right? Like that, they don't actually do that, right? How do?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
there's the?
Oh
ba-
wait,
I'm not
wrong
the
one.
baby.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
I'm not
Sorry,
the baby.
Wrong baby.
I got
That's
my
the
bald
baby.
mixed up. Aw,
Look at that.
look at you.
There
What a
he
little bean.
is.
He looks
Brandon.
just like you.
That's.
I'm
the
just saying that to
dude.
make I don't know.
He looks more like you and Ryan, actually.
He kind of does look like me. Sorry.
same hairline.
Oh my god. Hey, can I ask you a question? When you held him for the first time, did you unexpectedly tear up a bit?
Yes, and fun story about that is that we were in the OR and I had to do the first skin to skin. So I went tarps off in the operating room.
Aw, good man. Yeah, we got that.
Aw.
We saw that picture in our DMs. We got a really sweet picture of Rookie and the baby like that. That was.
I hope he doesn't fuss. Let me just see if I can do this.
Look at this dude. Oh, a little bit. Oh, he dropped his Sue. Oh, look at that mug. Look at that mug. He's ready for a podcast. We got to get him a podcast right away. What a
God.
dude.
And
Maybe
you
the
could
Nintendo-
bottle
Hi,
the
everybody.
smell too.
What
A
a
baby
little.
smell too is just the best.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Until they shit. But
Like it's like
before that, it's great.
Johnson's like
Listen.
actually did grind up babies to make baby powder because it does smell like baby powder. Right?
Oh,
I'd grind up a
yeah.
kid or two if I could bottle that smell. I mean, it's worth the same.
Guess what just went down just now
Mhm.
on live on
See?
Blackballed.
What did I tell you?
Massive fart.
I thought Lockley would be
got
the
that
first to
part.
do that on Blackballed.
Thanks, James.
We're all about pooping and farting on the Dean Blundell network. So
And look, now he's just so happy about it.
Yeah, look
that's
at
it. Look at the smile on him.
Look at that.
Are you stoked? Do I
Now
have
he's
to go
going to
change
tell
you
you
now?
some stories.
Do I have to go change you? Okay, now I have
Bless
to go
you.
change him.
Bless you,
All
Chris's
right, man.
wife. Bless you.
Oh, look at you.
Bye, guys.
See you,
Bye,
pal.
Yeah,
What
bye,
a
baby.
little dude.
You hang up. Okay, fuck. That's
No kidding. I just look at that little kid all day.
I can't remember what I told him in chat, but it was like a week and a half ago or something. I'm like, you're about to enter the world of chaos meets heaven. Like,
That's actually a
what do you mean?
really good way to put it.
Yeah, I think I
You're
don't know if I
right.
worded it quite like that, but it was something like that. It was because it's there's nothing like it, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. You know what? I've never even thought of it that way, but holy shit, isn't that? It's the perfect chaotic. Yeah, I good job. You've got me speechless because now I'm thinking about back when mine was little, and you're right. It's the perfect chaos, blissful chaos, even.
Well, it's weird because like you're all stressed. Should they eat? Why did they let us be responsible for something like this? You know, like it just.
Who made that choice? That was a terrible idea. We should not be responsible for smart
Oh well,
people
she did. It's
ever.
obviously her choice. It's her choice alone. So it's
That's
really
right.
all her fault.
So I pulled another caller in.
Okay.
We'll keep Joe because Joe, you're fun and you've got good audio. You don't sound like shit, and you got some shit to say. But we pulled another caller in, and it's my wife. My wife is here.
Oh my God, Ashley, where are you?
Hi, Ashley.
Did you say and pull me in here?
I did.
Get in
That's
here.
nice.
I pulled you in.
I see what you're
It's holy shit.
Ashley, you look right now like a dot with an M on it. You don't look like Ashley. What's happening? Because I've never had an audio only person on my show before. You will be the first. We're breaking.
You
ground
wanted
here.
I
you
thought
wanted a call-in show.
Let's give it a try.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Miss Lindley is on the line. Hello, Miss Lindley. Welcome to Blackballed.
Hi. Thank
Do you,
you for
do you have a
having me.
question? Can you turn your radio down? Jesus.
I can't believe that anybody's questioning whether or not, or it's not so much a question as a statement. I mean, they're clearly surveillance drones from the government. This idiot. That's I don't know how you missed that, but that's good shit together there, boys. I also
Can I?
heard you have money that's burning a hole in your wallet. You're having issues here.
Are you? What are you? Are you? Who is this?
Yeah, no kidding.
April?
Did they take your Facebook?
Facebook,
If
stop.
you
Ma'am.
hook up my Facebook, I'll give you anything you want, Daddy.
Ma'am.
I'll give you my last 3 takes.
Those are the best ones to not have anymore. Really.
Maybe she could make some
I don't know what
money.
the-
She's not leaving the garage until she gets her Facebook back, apparently, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt sorry for her. I felt like
Why
we
the
were
hell not?
doing ableism when we were making fun of her.
I thought we were de-abling
no,
her.
because
Disableism.
You don't think she has
she's
an obvious
willingly
mental
stupid.
challenge of some sort? You
No,
don't think?
no, I don't
wrong
think
with her.
willfully ignorant or politically stupid or just deficit in attention to your surroundings for your entire life is a disability. That's a choice in my eyes.
Wow.
I would have to
Yeah.
agree.
Ashley's actually done some deep dives on our good friend April, and
But like Forrest Gump, though, that kind of smart, right? Like,
no,
No.
I'm
No,
no,
this
she's
one
definitely not.
coasted
No,
through
Forrest.
school.
Sorry, go ahead.
This one coasted through school. Get her in there. She went. She didn't make it through. Like, was or anything, but I'm sure she scraped by and graduated
I
with
don't know.
the same guy since, and she's just pissed off because all she does is play games. The only thing she's got left that's exciting. She never left the town she's from, and
It's
turn that shit
Farmville,
back on.
and she
her,
was mad that
obviously.
she couldn't play her Farmville anymore
don't-
because
I
her
don't
Facebook
have-
was gone.
I don't.
This
have
is the
any
one that got her Facebook
chickens.
canceled. Gotcha.
I don't think I
Imagine
can
finding out she
help
was
her.
like 23.
Oh my God! Stop.
Well,
I
she
wouldn't be
was.
surprised.
Where's she from, Ashley? Again, sorry,
Oh, like
Gotta be Saskatchewan.
Aurelia?
No, Aurelia. So you can tell she's obviously that's actually like not a bad 23 in Aurelia. So
You know what? American women look older when they're young, and like it's weird because if you went back and you watched for
That
some
fact.
unknown reason like a 1988 episode of Geraldo or something, and one of their guests that they had was like 21, you'd be like, that chick's 40 easily.
mhm.
You know
Like,
what?
she's totally 40.
That's true. You used to see pictures of even like kids, and they were people almost. It was really weird, right?
Yeah.
Like little
Yeah,
girls
totally.
with old lady hairstyles and really bad 80s.
Yeah.
They
Only
Yeah.
creepy white men would
You wanna
think
call her
of making.
Ethel?
doing that.
I'm gonna make a very, very broad and bold statement about American women. When you see pictures, is it just me, or like, do they all have like that round pie face thing going on? Like mostly, like it's almost.
That is so racist, Ryan.
I know. But I'm gonna go
Wow.
out on a limb and take the cancellation chance and say that, like, and I'm not saying this to be like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they all have this weird, no definition from the.
I think they all wore
down.
makeup at a young age, and we only know
I
the
have
American
friends that-
face when it's got a lot of makeup. I think
I
that's
want
what it is.
you all to actually pay attention to if you see a Caucasian female of American descent, whatever that is, that like you look at Lauren Boebert, round face. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, round face. Like the all-American
Dunham?
girl has a
Lena
weird
Dunham?
round face thing
Round
going
face.
on.
Yeah.
Lena Dunham,
Wants to know
she's funny
why
as hell.
Ryan won't be on the Dean Blundell show for the rest of the week. It's because he's going to be
I just canceled myself. No, it's a thing. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I know it is. And if you can't insult white people, I'm sorry, you just can't insult white people, especially Americans. So,
No, you can only be racist against white people. It's so much better than that. It's amazing.
isn't it
Like when I
fun?
found out Portuguese people were white, I was fucking thrilled. I could just lay.
That's
into
why I
it.
want DaCosta to get in here so we can make fun of him, but he's not
God.
here. He's just in the comments being a dickhead.
He's Portuguese, DaCosta?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, well, if he ever strays off, we can find him. You just follow the grease trail and you'll end up at a
Wow.
Portuguese
I always say it's just
They're
Italians.
white. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
defend yourself,
I always
Costa. Get in here.
just say Portuguese or Italians with better food.
That's what Jews are to Italians. And that's from a movie. Or The
it?
Sopranos. It's Sopranos.
No, it's just because they incorporate way more fish. You guys have bacala, but that's about it. Salted cod.
I really don't think that you guys need me for this, but I'm for Joe.
Oh, okay.
I would
Well,
like,
then fine.
I
Why
would
don't
like
you just leave? You
No,
don't even show
I
your
can't-
face and then you leave.
Yeah, well, you're having a lot of fun. And
Joe
is
doesn't.
there anybody else?
We can have 10 people on at the same time. So
Oh my God!
I
Come
get
on, pile
crowded.
in,
You're not-
folks. What are you doing here?
yeah, you're not
I
taking
wanna
up a
s-
square. It's not fucking. It's it's not fucking
Well, hold on.
Hollywood
Ryan,
squares here.
How
Yeah.
do I execute if I just want to get rid of somebody? Like in about 6 minutes, I'll probably get rid of Joe and bring someone
And
else
me.
in. Should I say goodbye or
I'll leave
should
you-
I just like randomly do it? Joe,
I'd
what
say,
would you prefer?
all right, I would say how I would run it would be like we're talking to Ashley right now, and this is actually kind of a perfect way to segue it out and be like, you know, and what do you think, Joe? And Joe would say that, well, thanks, Joe. That's great. You know what, Joe? Thanks so much for coming and blah blah blah.
I'm glad
And
we're
then you
working
would-
this out live. You know,
Yeah, you
'cause the-
kick them
It's
out,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Because it does. It feels awkward to like cut somebody off. It actually
does.
felt nice, cutting Rookie off because I do that all the time when we talk. But
Yeah.
it feels good to actually like do it physically. And
But
my
James, you
wife,
do
I
have to-
cannot
yeah.
wait to throw my wife out of this room. It's going to be so much fun.
But James,
The
it is
only
up to
time I
you
have
to- you to
control.
direct it.
Oh yeah, yeah, Lindley.
Yeah.
I just threw your wife out, buddy.
Oh,
Out. Sorry.
stop inning and outing my wife, James. That's not very nice. I'm right here.
Ahem.
I'm not that kind of a
Oh.
cuck.
I live in a small town.
I'm a lib cuck. I'm not that cuck.
All right.
Oh, look at that. I can get rid of James. It's his show, and I got rid of him.
Oh my God!
That's so funny. I'm glad you didn't
Just
hear what I
chaos
said
now.
in that brief moment that I wasn't on air. Though.
Oh, you were gone. But yeah, no, like it is. It's very awkward to say goodbye,
Yeah.
isn't it?
No, not really.
Well,
If
it's
you
nice
make
when
it
people-
awkward, I guess.
It's nice when people just like goodbye themselves.
Bye. Is that what you want? You want some bite?
I just wanted somebody to actually say it. I don't want you.
No,
actually-
you know what? The voice thing is
Say it.
killing me because you know what I just heard you say to your husband? Is that what you like? Do you want me to bite? Is that like that's what it sounded like? And all I can see is the voice, and I just feel like you know, it's too. It's weird when you know the person. That's what it is. The voice without the face is supposed to be people you don't know, like Joe.
Yeah.
We've talked on the phone before. Like, are you okay? It's the same as when we talk on the phone, James.
I'm fine. This is a video podcast. Have you not noticed you're the only one who is audio? Have you not noticed?
Wanted people to have the option, and I wanted if they didn't want to use their cameras, and this is.
She wanted to show that you can do this.
Hold on, let me just put on my husband lab coat. Okay.
I'm also in my
Okay,
jammies.
I think
that's fair.
I think she also wanted to show that you would be able to respond well if.
Oh, you know what?
Had a camera.
I'll show you why she's embarrassed.
No, I'm
going to show you something,
baby.
I'm going to show it. I'm
She
going to
ain't embarrassed, baby.
I'm going to put the photo in the asset. So Ash,
they've seen it.
You're gonna put the photo in the.
I know, but I'm sure. No, Ashley.
Are you
Ashley went
smuggling?
shopping
No,
today,
I was
and she's wearing brand new pajamas tonight. And I just have.
Is
to
this her
figure out
April look?
Oh no.
Oh no.
No, I spent
No.
$3 whole on this. April wouldn't do that.
This didn't come out of a Goodwill dumpster. This came from a store. Vamp for me, James, because this is going to take a second for me to transfer over.
I'm
On your
looking
show
for a funny picture that I think would be funny, and I can't find it, and it's really pissing me off. But it is at Chris Rook's expense, and I can't wait to find it.
If you want filler, I can give you filler.
No, I'm trying. You know what? Instead, let's see if I can start a new bit where I don't actually deliver the joke. I just say what the joke is and then never deliver it. You know that famous photo of the man who is like
Dean used to
gave birth
do the
trans
opposite.
woman? I was going to say we found a photo of Chris putting his child gave birth.
Dean used to do the opposite. He used to do just the punchlines. Remember?
How do you think I feel? I have to walk back alone.
Or in 10 minutes when your mom leaves for work.
What? Not another
Dean used to do-
breathalyzer test.
Dean used to do that. This is why Ashley's embarrassed. This is what she's wearing right now.
Oh, that's hot. What are you talking about? Look at that.
Yeah.
This is my watching shirt.
Hallmark Christmas movie watching shirt.
Oh my god.
I had to buy that shirt for my wife.
Well,
guys
because
get
we were
idea
talking
is
about it on
that-
the show all week, right? So
I wanted to weigh in
She
so
is-
bad. So bad.
She is hooked on Hallmark Christmas movies. She would absolutely
So
love
am I.
that shirt.
You know what it
if I'm
is? Often
perfectly
people
honest,
that
I
like
despise them.
retro. Yes, that's the
Sorry?
point. People that like retro, cheesy retro, those people that like cheesy retro, and they like it because it's bad. I think that's kind of the thing, right?
That's
people
where I'm
like it
at.
because-
Yeah.
yeah, like watching Full House.
actually, did you
You know?
hear my analogy, or like what my actual my hypothesis on Hallmark is?
I don't think so.
I want to hear it.
Hallmark movies were actually invented by the porn industry to give
yeah.
injured porn actors a place to go and do a return to work program through comp. So if they like broke their
Makes a
dick
lot of sense.
or they broke their vagina and they couldn't do the actual sex things anymore, they could
I think
still
you
bring that
sprain
acting. They could bring that. Yeah, they didn't sprain their vagina. They could bring that acting skill to the screen still and exercise that muscle
Mhm.
and
That
not
shitty acting skill.
so that's how Hallmark movies were born, everybody. I didn't know if everybody knew
We
that. I just thought I'd
we
share
told
it.
the producer that Jenna didn't have to do any bike scenes. No bike
Yeah.
scenes for Jenna, please.
Yeah.
My gosh,
Not until the condition clears up.
you do realize
Yeah.
that Jenna does Kegels the entire time she's on set.
It's a Candida Christmas.
Oh my god, ew.
Oh,
Ew.
wow.
Welcome to Blackballed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome. I don't know what happened. My show just totally like jumped the shark.
This
You know,
this is what happens
Series
if you have a
of
call-in
views
show.
to- yeah, I know. Okay, let's move along the calls. Let's do
So-
that. Yeah.
All right.
I
In
don't
that
care.
case, it's
We
coming
can
up to
bring it in
9.
until
I
the
need to get
malfunction if
going.
We have to.
I got another call I got to go take care of.
All right.
So here's my exit.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have another caller or no?
We do actually.
someone with a
And
dog.
this is actually somebody from the network. Again, from the network, helping out. Brent on tour without his headphones, so he echoes through the
Am I really echoing?
and all I can hear is me.
You don't echo when you talk.
when you
When
talk.
we talk, you echo.
Puppy.
So,
Puppy.
Don't Everybody echoes. It's him. He's got no headphones in.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Blackballed, Brent. How are you?
I'm sure he'll be back once he figures out his tech issues.
Okay.
But yeah, these are the things we're going to have to deal with.
Yes, this is the trial and error episode that will, in all likelihood, be pulled within moments of it going.
Of us hitting end stream.
How about now?
Brent?
There you go, buddy.
That's better.
You
But
got
now you
it?
lost the dog. Bring the dog back at
The
least.
dog will be back. The dog's just the dog's having a moment. Stand
So
by.
the dog that you posted today that you asked Elon Musk with no shame somehow to retweet it was your dog?
That was my dog. Yeah.
Oh my God. Very
That's
cute
Charlie. That's Charlie the Wise. I'm like, I'm unverified. Let's see if he's even paying attention because he's
you know-
tweeting out other bullshit. I'm like, let's tweet out a dog and make everyone's day. But
I tweeted it out with my $8 check mark.
I enjoyed that tweet. Thank you very much, and so did Charlie. And then I found out you have a Charlie, so that's very exciting. That's interesting.
I tweeted Cocaine Bear, and some people call it Cocaine Charlie.
I heard that that's a great movie. Have you seen
Dude,
it yet?
it looks hilarious. It looks fucking amazing.
Right? I can take
Brent?
the echo if I can see the dog. Emil, stand by. I'm grabbing the dog.
Yeah,
and then
go
I'll be
grab
right
the
back.
dog. Go grab the dog.
He's actually. Well, you know what I'll do is we'll do this post like this. We'll do.
There
we'll
you
do
go.
We'll do the
Yeah, you
dog.
come to him.
He's on location on the floor.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
on location. We're on location with the dog.
Yeah, you're
You know
putting
what I'm
yourself
saying?
at its level, as that dog trainer guy would say.
Yeah, I'm
dooming
putting myself
the
at
life
the,
of-
What's his
at the
name?
level there.
Hi, Charlie.
I'll let him do the talking.
Aw.
There we go.
Boy.
Right.
Look at
This is
that
bet-
little
this
face.
Is this is the content people are here for. Not
What's
me.
his name?
Charlie the Wise.
Charlie, that's right.
It's another Charlie. We have a Charlie too.
That's right.
He's
That's hilarious. Look at his little nose.
Yeah, he's.
This has been look,
Who's a
James. Like you've had cute babies,
Charlie.
you've got puppies. You are a
I know.
Hallmark movie yourself. Look at you.
Yes.
If
This
I
is
were
very
Mr.
much-
Burns, I would make the most comfortable earmuffs out of that dog. That dog is so gorgeous.
See my vest. See my vest.
James, you had a question, sir. I'm supposed to have a question for you, but go ahead.
Oh,
Call it.
did I don't remember what the question was now because we did all that stuff.
Those puppies.
But why did you ask Elon Musk to retweet your tweet?
You know what? Because he's retweeting a bunch of shit and posting stuff, and I'm like, let's just take a flyer and see if he's just gonna like. He seems to be like paying attention to people that are paying attention to him. That's all I'm saying. Like people are tagging him, and he's like answering everybody. He's
Yeah.
answering everybody.
Do you
Like,
think he's
know,
also smearing lipstick all over his face and
I
rocking
absolutely
back and forth?
think
or-
while he's getting peed on. Yes. Absolutely.
I wonder where
But
that
I'm like-
rumor came from.
But I'm like, listen, man, this is a cute dog in the snow. Why don't you clean up your feet and throw the dog around in the
Yeah.
snow and
That was
for
so
people,
cute. That was
right? And then
It
why don't
was
we have
really
like
cute.
8 million people make him go viral, and then he'll have
Well,
a way
I
more.
retweeted him.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I put
that,
him out
man.
on the network Twitter. I think Dean did too. Yeah. Anytime a puppy's in the snow, I'm in. Like I'm totally. I'll follow people that do that.
Yep.
In fact,
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
reason to
launching
follow.
a new show. I'm launching a new show soon, and this is the show. It's just a picture. It's just
like the
it's
fireplace
just-
channel.
This is it.
He's gonna blow us out of the water, James.
Yeah, he
He's
will.
gonna have all the numbers.
I know. Can I
This is
produce
gonna
it,
be it.
please?
Yeah, this is everything you need right here, and this is the.
It's
This
true.
is where it's at. But
It
Because
is
he's
true.
a
So you're
puppy,
home.
Watch me grow
You're-
series.
That's actually not a bad
I'm
idea.
home. I'm home in one of these rare 3-month home moments, and so it's like, let's get a dog and figure the shit out.
Where's the next tour for Breton?
It's
on tour
taking
in
me
his real
to
job?
it's taking me to the Middle East, and
Middle
to
East?
to Middle East and to Africa and to South America. To
Can you
start the
talk
year.
about it?
Well, I mean, there's a really good chance it's the same act I was with last year. And, and so I spent last year with Imagine Dragons. This year we're doing, we were supposed to do South America, but it got moved to the end of January, February. So that's where we're going to be. And so we're doing,
Wow.
we're doing Lollapalooza in India, which is pretty cool. First time
wow.
of it there. And a whole bunch of other kind of plays over there, including Saudi Arabia and all that stuff. So yeah,
That's wild.
it's big market, big business now over there.
Good stuff, man.
Your life seems so adventurous. You know what I like about it? When I talked to you before about your job, And I was really impressed that you were just like, no, you don't like try to make friends with any of these famous people, and you're there to do a job. And sometimes they're really nice, but you can't be like the guy that tries too hard. Now, and you kind of know that theoretically, but it feels like you believe it, and it's like, you know, I can't imagine trying to impress you by saying, "Hey, Brent, would you like to come to a show?" You'd be like, "Oh man, I don't care what it is. I've been there and done that." You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I don't necessarily, I don't really go to shows on my days off, so it's kind of like, it's fun to go.
Why would you?
But you meet some bands and stuff, but James,
have you ever seen a really dope show with a big giant name in a really small venue?
Yeah, I mean, this year, I've seen tons like that. But this year, actually, we did Milan. We were doing Italy, and I actually got off the plane and went and actually saw Korn in a club that holds about 700 people. Wow. It was pretty rad.
That is really cool. How loud was that?
No, it was deadly. It was really, really great. And those guys are really nice guys. So those are guys I've become friends with, James. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen a really big name play at a campfire with just you?
Yes, not just me, but I've seen campfire stuff. Yes.
Oh, really?
We actually set up a campfire backstage at a festival and had all the bands come by and play acoustically. So there you go.
I always thought that would be
cool.
dope. That would be like a tour, like a campfire tour, you know?
I've seen, I did a lot of event work and security work for festivals and things, and medical. Like, we used to set it up. My brother and I used to work for a company that actually ran shit like that. And we worked for a promoter, and we got to see everything. We saw so many cool shows, but the best...
What was the promoter's name?
John Baylog. But the best show that I have ever seen, and it had nothing to do with that, I was at the Casbah in Hamilton, where Danko Jones played in the basement. And it was so fucking loud, but it wasn't distorted. Like, you heard every note, you heard every shred, but it was to the point where I probably shouldn't be able to hear you guys today because it was so loud and like just kind of like ripped through you. Best show I've ever seen live.
I saw the Pumpkins a couple weeks ago, and they're in club mode now. They should be playing clubs now. It shouldn't be in an arena now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many
sounds
good concerts. I've only been to
right.
like less than 10 concerts. I've been to like a billion like world famous DJ kind of events or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, live hip hop for the most part sucks. It just
try touring with it.
Well, you know what? I had Classified on, and when he was telling me, because I was like, why didn't you book any big cities? Because he booked all these like towns and stuff. And he actually said to me, he's like, because I've never done a quiet hip hop show where people are like sitting and listening to the words. And I'm just like, bro, that to me is like so much better than a regular hip hop show. The mic man might as well be the star. You know, like even Eminem now, I can't watch Eminem live even because he'll like, if he does a song, like 30 or 40% of the song is just the mic man. And everyone's just like,
God.
oh, you know, he's
tired.
And
Say the thing.
Yeah. But it does, yeah.
Do the thing.
It's awful. I hate
DJ
it.
Khaled.
You remember seeing the movie Old School? Remember, and they bring out Snoop, and Snoop's doing the thing, but then he's got the hype man singing along with him, and Snoop's like, yeah, all right. But then it's not, the hype guy's like, singing along, and I'm like, that's every hip hop show ever.
Yeah.
And
there's Flavor Flav and then every other mic man, and that's it. Like,
that's true. That is actually that's a good benchmark. Like,
he's
everything
the greatest
just falls.
hype man of all time.
Yep, I agree.
And he's shorter than me, so I respect him.
Someone that looks up to you.
That's right.
It's very rare.
Oh, it's Charlie.
James, I want to ask you a political question
Please.
about because you're blackballed.
It's a call-in show.
It's a call-in show.
We don't have to keep saying that on the call-in show, but yes.
Is anybody calling? Is it a call-in scenario?
Colin's not even here. Colin's not
Welcome
even
to the
here.
show, Brent. What is your question for James on Blackballed?
Is this Colin's show?
I don't know.
All right, this is pretty generic.
Okay.
Pretty generic, but it's the same question that's happening in the States as up here.
Okay.
Coming out of COVID, coming out of the thing with the whole divide and the fact that we have 3 parties, but it's really only 2, 4. The other one doesn't really count. Is there anybody, is there a candidate at all that could possibly get this country back together? And I'm serious. Like, this is like a serious question because it was, I think somebody, who did I just see? I just saw a clip on, oh, it was Snoop Dogg. It was Snoop Dogg calling out Trump, going, we all went our own way before that guy. Once that guy came on, once that guy came in and did his thing, we're completely divided now. And Snoop's like, we're never going to be back together. And my question is, who do you think, or how does that actually, because I'm not really a political guy, so it's tough for me to like, because the way politics are and candidates and like voting for this, and I just vote, my whole mission was to get Tamara Jansen out of our riding, and we win. And she's out. And that's my whole thing. It's like, who's taking care of my neighborhood? Do I have, salt on the roads, and are my kids going to school? And that's all that matters to me. But trying to have a political conversation, especially on tour, is there anybody, both sides, that's actually going to be able to unite either the continent or our country, where people are like, yeah, okay, cool. Because I think it's fucked. I think we're screwed.
I don't
forever.
I don't like, you're talking about Canada or the United States?
Well, Canada, but Canadians, like the ones that are following Pierre Poupou, will do whatever's happening in America. So if like I was just saying, like if there's like a Republican candidate in America, that people are like, all right, I kind of, like McCain doesn't look so bad now, does he? You know what I mean? Even though he's dead now, but he doesn't look so bad in comparison
He's a
to what's
war
going
hawk
on.
and stuff. Like it's hard. He's good on torture, bad on war. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys. But,
So my thing is kind of like, are we going to follow suit? Or is there a candidate that's like, well, this guy actually is a great representation of both parties in America, or in Canada, it's like, no, you are all the way here or you're all the way over there. I just don't see it. I don't see anybody.
In Canada, I think because it isn't like Chrystia Freeland. She's mocked for her voice and the way she dresses, and I know that's not that's obviously sexist, but it does exist, and you're not going to cure them of their ridiculous sexist criticisms. So she's not going to work. I think there might be a shot for a guy like Mark Carney because of his economic background. He does kind of come off to right wingers as like a little bit too David Suzuki-ish with the environment.
Yeah.
But his economic background is better than any living conservative. And he has a record of successes wherever he goes as an economist and a banker. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, like, yes, let's get a banker to be in charge. That'll be a switch from the way it's always been. But like, there is something about being able to have a candidate that is somewhat of a hybrid. So if he is known for being really good with the economy and really good with the environment, and he can somehow create policy that intertwines those things, I think he could sell it.
Now, are we talking only, like, are we only talking federal? Because we could get into the weeds here, right? But
I think federal. I think that's probably what Brent meant when he asked.
Yeah, I'm talking federal because locally it's like,
No, I'm not talking about like city council. I'm talking like any like prominent provincial leaders.
Well, even across the country, like they're talking like, what's her name's gonna go now? Kenny's gonna try to run again, and
Kenny's not gonna do anything. Kenny just
bailed out.
Plug. Yeah.
So is there anybody across the country?
He took the Dodge Ram
the country
and left the trailer park
where people will be like, yeah, that guy.
You know what? Even though he's like not liked by any conservative in Alberta, I still think that if there was like a group of 5 people that I would say could be prime minister in the next 10 years, I'd put Naheed Nenshi on that list.
Nenshi, yeah.
Yeah, I put. I just think he's likable, and
you know what? He's been pretty solidified in the fact that he's pretty straight shooting and doesn't take fucking bribes, and he's been vindicated that way. Actually, on this show is where it broke. Was to show that the guy's untouchable when it comes to outside influence, right? So
he literally said the exact thing you're supposed to say in a situation where someone tries to entrap you into a situation where you do something illegal, and went like this. First, you're going to have to go through the proper channels. And when they went through the proper channels said, fuck no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like that,
he's got to run in Alberta and win. right?
No,
and not get
what they would do. So, say he joined the Liberals, they would
Yeah.
parachute him into some riding federally that was an easy win
A
for
safe
Liberal.
riding. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he would probably run for leader after Chrystia Freeland becomes leader, and then loses the party's reign on power.
And okay, so let's take away her voice. Let's take away her those things that we know will disqualify her unfairly. You got to tell me that you at least think she would make a competent leader.
I think that we have seen so many like bad leaders in North America that mediocre leaders look fucking amazing now. And I think that she would be.
You think she's mediocre? Yeah.
I don't think she has the ability to bring people together and unite them. I think she has the ability to galvanize people that are center left who vote liberal.
Or extreme left.
I don't think the extreme left even like her because she's, she worked like, what was she? She was, listen, I'm not, when I say this right now, it's not me criticizing her. I'm speaking for the people that do.
This is a generalization.
I like, and I like that red dress that she wears like 3 times a week. I think it's a dope ass dress. Hugs her hips nice. I don't see what the problem is. And I'm not being dirty. I'm just saying they don't like her red dress, and I don't really understand why.
Who's that?
Last question.
Yeah.
Before I go, Charlie's got the last question he's got is James. And I'd like you to tag this and put this on the internets. Charlie would like to know when you and Abby are finally going to start your political argument podcast together.
No shit.
That is all.
Is that not the best Twitter fight you've ever seen?
No, it's
constantly?
the greatest idea for a show ever, and I'm sure they would both do it.
I
gotta go.
It would be
Thanks,
a limited
gents.
series. Thanks,
It's
Brent.
going to be a limited series. This is great, James. Love the new format of the show.
This is just one time thing.
It's just one.
No,
James is never doing this again because now he agrees with me that this is a horrible idea.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't know. The audience is going to have to judge. But
I think we definitely need to do the nighttime, what happened during the day show.
We need to do some of. You know what? We have that in the works. There's things coming down the pike, and that's going to be a thing that's definitely to be spoken about later.
This is the face I make.
We'll start it down the road. This was a great little intro. Great to see you all.
Great to see you too.
Awesome to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Good night, Charlie. And we'll do this again one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Rock on.
See you, pal.
See you guys.
Thanks, man.
Rad dude. That's what he is. He's a rad dude.
I just remove guests. I don't just put him in the green room because I
just remove guests.
Yeah, I do. I just, whenever I want a guest to go, like when I'm like, thank you for coming on Blackballed, I really appreciate it. And like, no problem. I don't put him in the green room because then they stare at you when you're doing your outro. I just remove them altogether.
I kind of like that a little bit because then you get to blow a bit of sunshine up their ass before they leave. So they come back and they feel good about, like, even if you've just taken 45 minutes and shredded them to pieces, and then you can say, it was really great having them on, and then they come back. So
yeah, I don't do enough shredding people. I never watch my podcast anymore, but I watched the one I did with Christine Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a part of me that like, and I argued with myself for ages about that interview. I was like, should I have been a little bit more like this? And
no.
Yeah,
you handled yourself very well. I didn't handle myself well in your comment section.
I know. I got mad at you for that a little bit.
I know you did. I believe me. I went back and watched the end of the show.
Yeah.
I know I know exactly who you were talking about.
Well,
and it was me. And you know what? You were absolutely correct.
I got over it very quickly, super quickly.
I know, but if I was there as a member, or as a co-host, absolutely, that would have been totally fucking. I was there as a viewer, and I was expressing myself as a viewer. So your criticism of me was very valid and justified, but I want you to remember that I was there as a viewer, and I took the criticism as the viewer, and it's fine. We'll agree to disagree.
You're gonna have to change your name to like Cheese Boy 69
I should.
No one knows it's you.
I get it, and I am bad for that sometimes. You're right. I shouldn't come on with my real name when I want to be a dickhead.
You're probably the only one that could do that and me not be like, like I was like, you know, you didn't have to do that at the end. You know, I love you.
I
love
know.
this,
No, I get it.
but,
No,
but if it
no,
was
I
Dean,
totally.
I would
it
have
was-
been like, seriously, what the fuck, dude?
Yep.
Like,
I
I'm
know.
trying to
I know.
I
know.
If it was Lachlan, I'd be like, what? You're still fucking going on about stuff? If it was anybody, but with you, I was
thought
just
about-
like,
I thought about it afterwards too, and I thought about your position. I thought he's right. I shouldn't have said it under my own name. I should have went under as a different name. You're
hey,
right.
fuck you, Cheese Boy 69.
That's right. Fuck you. I'll do my own show.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I totally agree, and I think where we were going with the original idea of what you were saying was I know you don't watch your own show, but you do a fucking fantastic. We don't get. I don't think we as, and I'm speaking as the audience, we don't give you enough credit for your ability and your level of patience, because I know, and I do know where you stand. When we've had talks offline, we've talked many times offline about things, and I know where you are in your own personal beliefs. But when this show goes live, you have this very fucking awesome ability to put that aside and not let it bubble over when you're talking to people that can be saying some pretty fucking atrocious things. And you let them, you're the rope provider. You provide the rope and you let them hang themselves on the, and it's exactly what needs to happen. And as the audience, I think looks at it in a different view and says, oh, I can't believe you're platforming. And I hate that word, platforming, because, and I'm guilty of accusing it as well. There's certain instances where a platform, especially with Christine Anderson, I'm sorry, everybody that's watching, already has a platform. It doesn't matter if James interviews Christine Anderson. It doesn't matter if Don Lemon from CNN interviews. Doesn't matter if fucking Rupert Murdoch gives her a show on Fox. She has a platform already. So when James has her on a platform like this and gives her that rope, let it happen. Let them hang themselves on the show. If that's the way you think, don't criticize or blame the host of the show who's not showing any bias whatsoever. That's what you want in the host of the show that's actually asking the questions. And you have an uncanny fucking weird switch that I wish I fucking possessed to make that happen. Because that's exactly what's going to propel. That's what's going to propel you into the stratosphere when it comes to digital content, and it's your ability to put aside your personal feelings and let people just go and just ask an everyday question. What color's the sky? What color is the grass? And when they tell you the sky is green and the grass is blue, you're like, okay, so why
well, you know what it is? Like, I used to think that exact phrase in my head. Just give him enough rope. Just give Max Bernier enough rope. I stopped looking at it like that. It's still exactly that in a sense, but I find that if I start thinking in terms of giving them enough rope, that type of cynical expectation will shine through a little bit. And I don't want that to happen. I want people to just be like, he's just asking simple questions. Yep. She's giving her answer. I do have a point where I would be like, all right, Sparky.
Yeah, there is. There is. Yeah, no, I've seen you stop. I've seen you stop like a misinformation campaign. You do that, and you do it very well. And you don't do it with a shotgun. You do it with like a milk and cookies. Hey, come over here for a second. Yeah. Why are you saying that? You know, it's actually an art. It's a real art, and you're an absolute magician when it comes to it. And I don't give you enough credit for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I don't know. Honestly, I know it sounds stupid and kind of like a non kind of answer or non-comment. I'm, like what's his face in Bull Durham? Don't think meat, just throw. I honestly like that is the struggle, I guess, because before it was like, well, great. Now I'm thinking about not thinking of anything.
I know.
And now it's like the show starts. I get through the intro because I don't write down the intro. I just like wing it. Right. Yep. And I get through the intro and then for a moment, I'll have the thought, don't think. And next thing you know, 48 minutes has gone by. And I'm like, I didn't think for 48 minutes. You know?
It's nice to black out. And that's why you should, every once in a while, James, I think you deserve to watch your own show. And it sounds funny to say that, but I think you deserve to actually sit and watch it because
the production value just sucks. I have better tastes, right? Like the audio is always a little shitty. You know,
you give yourself, you fuck yourself over with these criticisms. I think you should give yourself just a little bit of credit, at least allow that, because you do a really fucking good job here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just don't think, but I do appreciate that. I want to have conversations with people. I don't want to ask questions.
No,
you know, like, I don't know, even know half the shit Christine Anderson said, but I know a bunch. I know I told her at the end that I disagreed with 90% of what you just said, and she still agreed to come back. Right? Like, why do I have to then also be like, don't you think that your views are damaging to the social fabric? Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like,
no, because we know that everybody, and if you're watching a show, if you're coming to a live YouTube podcast to especially in something like that, something that we know who we know who she is, we know where she stands, we know what her party is about. Same with Maxime Bernier. When you have Maxime on here, you're here to watch the fireworks. You're here, and if you're getting yourself wrapped up in, you're going to be the one with your YouTube comment to change his mind. I'm sorry, I have really bad news for you. You're not, because they're not reading the comments. They're reading a poll. They're reading donation lists. They're reading their base, and you're not their base, and they don't care. They really don't care what you say. But what they're doing is they're actually putting it out in a public forum for everybody else to see.
Yeah.
And that's why you get guys like Maxime Bernier who end up with 4 to 8% of a vote.
Well, and you know what? And the spin that he has on that number is actually a legitimate point, which is that it took him like 4 years to gain 5% of the vote. It took the Greens like 24 years.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's what I find interesting about it. I want to know like why Maxime Bernier thinks and I feel like one day I'm going to get him to like quietly be like, look, if 6% of the population happen to be racist and they happen to vote, of course I want them to vote for me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to institute racist policies. And I'd be like, but what it does mean is that you hit them with kid gloves because you want their vote. Like, you know, I want to have that conversation eventually.
He will say it.
Yeah.
They all will say it. There's no way. Like, there's no way you can crack at an egg and not see a fault that long and not get frustrated with it, with the fact that your hammer isn't working the way you thought it was going to work. You know what I mean? So
I hate it when that my hand. Oh, never mind. No. I'm disciplined now too. I'm disciplined. They know what I meant, but I'm still.
Yeah. So I hope that the audience realizes what we're about here and what we do here. What James is doing here is fantastic. It's yeoman's work when it comes to everything else that we're doing, especially when it comes to that discourse. You're the only person. You're the only moderator. If I was ever just thinking, you know, weirdly, if I was ever to actually become a politician, and they said you guys got to pick James D. Fiore is the moderator of this fucking debate.
Why? Because of my stellar track record with the Chris Sky debate.
Well, we know how that went. You know,
I left to go smoke. That's how I seriously. I took my moderator gig.
You know what I mean, though. Like it's you have a very unique way of hitting that center switch, and it's very very compelling. If you let it be compelling, if you let it just be, you're here for the interest of getting inside the mind of somebody who thinks differently than you. And James has a very good way of laying that out like a charcuterie board for you to pick at and sample and have a good time. I appreciate what you do here. That's
I appreciate that. Because I do strive for kind of what you said, like almost exactly what you said. I feel like I have a ways to go, but I feel like that's the goal. And I feel like I want people to feel like I treated Sherry DeNovo and Christine Anderson with the same amount of respect.
So, and the same the exact same approach, and that's the whole thing. You approach them with, you were inquisitive. You're inquisitive. Let's have a chat.
I was this close to saying to Christine Anderson, "Is it okay that I tell you that you look a little bit like Ghislaine Maxwell?"
I was just gonna say,
and that's also okay. Like, oh, she's a heinous person, obviously, what she did, but the elegant short hair kind of.
I'm actually shocked that you didn't, because that's what I love. I love about again, obviously it's a double-edged sword, and it's a backhanded compliment when I give them. I love how you do things like that. Like when you had Andy Lee on and talked about her legs, and
her knees were right in a spot.
Chelsea Hillier,
and I was like, it looked like she had boobs with no nipples. And I'm sorry, but that's what it looked like. I had a Rorschach moment where I'm like, look at those nippleless boobs, their kneecaps. What the fuck? That's so
I know, but when you have people that actually look at you as that guy that provides that sort of content, and then you say things like that, it's absolutely out of left field when it comes to you. You know what I mean? Like, even though people that know you, it's like, it's totally something James would say. It's fucking hilarious. That's exactly what he would say. But there's show James and there's on the phone James. And sometimes on the phone James shows up in show James, and and that's my favorite. Like, I buckle over when you fucking falter and you cross over back into that persona. It's my favorite.
Oh, that's weird, because I literally try not to do that. Do you remember that time on the Dean Blundell show where Dean played a clip of like some Eastern European woman saying like, of course, if you go out with me, you have to pay for dinner and whatever. And when the clip ended, I was like, that woman should be grateful, considering she probably arrived to this country in a crate with holes drilled at the top so she could fucking breathe. Why is she so and I know it's like, and I look back at that moment and I'm like, I wouldn't say that today, except for obviously this very second, but like, I wouldn't try to make people laugh with that joke.
But it is a funny joke, and that's the thing.
It's a funny joke, like, if we're in private chat with like bunch of guys that would never say that shit in public. I don't even know what I meant. I honestly don't even know what I meant.
I said something today. It's funny. I actually said something. I don't even remember what it was. And I remember saying it on the show, and in my head thinking, oh shit, you shouldn't have said that. Or maybe it was yesterday. Marianne pulls a lot of bad things out of us, because when Marianne's on, it's almost like a license. It gives you that. I feel like I have always told her, and we've had this chat, it feels like 4 or 3 older brothers with a younger sister in the room when Marianne's on. She's fucking awesome. So she's one of my favorite people.
I think Marianne is like star quality kind of person. Like, if she,
I think so too.
And also she should get her microphone sponsored by Lexington Steel. But it pisses me off whenever Dean says Peter North. I'm like, dude, it's
no, he was the beer can.
What's that?
He was thick, but he wasn't long, right?
He wasn't.
He could touch both sides at once, but he couldn't hit bottom.
The aesthetics do not look like Peter. Anyways,
no, but you're right, and I think so. So I said something, and I'm with you. I said something, and I can't remember what the fuck it was now, because I say a lot of shitty things every day, even off the air. But I said something, and it was, and I thought, was that too much? Should I not have said that? But I know it wasn't in like bad taste or bad form, but it was like an observation that was true, and it was. We got to be so careful now. But do we have to be so careful now?
I do, because if I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna have a filter, I would be fired in like a week. I would, I need my filter now, and I constructed it from scratch, and it's only like less than a year old. Like when I left Dean's show, I immediately was positive about it, because I was like, I'm going to put all my fucking energy into Blackballed, and it's going to, and I had the best crash course ever. Like, I never broadcast a day in my life. And my very first show is being like a co-host or whatever you want to call it with Dean for 150 episodes, It
was great.
With one of the greatest
I love watching
radio
those. I love
DJs
watching those
of all time. I hate watching them, actually, to tell you the
them.
truth. I have no beard. I'm like, oh, look,
I saw your
James
first
must have
episode.
aged like kids do in soap operas, because that guy is like 12.
I
now
saw
I'm
your
like,
first,
whatever this is,
I saw your first appearance. I actually looked it up not that long ago, because I was doing some work. network
on film?
stuff. And it was so funny. You were in like a weird bedroom, and you and Dean brought you on, and it was so awkward. Even not just you, but him as well. It was
was it just audio? Was it back in those days?
no, no.
Hmm.
It was I was talking about the YouTube stuff, right? So
Oh, okay.
that made me laugh, and then I thought, and I'm laughing about it to myself while I was doing whatever, and I thought, you piece of shit, go look in your first time on the show. So I did. I went back and looked at that, and I went, all right, don't make fun of him.
I haven't looked at yours. Apparently,
Mine's
I
pretty
treated
funny.
everyone like shit the first time they were on the show.
Yeah, you were a bit of a cunt back in the day. Just saying. I'll use the hard C because you were something else.
I was a cunt, but I didn't hate you. I just was like,
No.
I enjoyed being a cunt, you know?
And that was and that's where it's funny. We're all trying to find that line, right? Like we're all here to. It's a show. We're trying to put on a show. We're putting on a show for people. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. And part of that includes very horrible things sometimes, and it makes it funny. It makes it enjoyable. Like when we make fun of Lachlan, or we make fun of each other, or it's part of the banter. But holy shit, like when the noobs showed up, like me, and you tried to like foray into they're busting balls on a pro level, and I'm new. And I'm like, I'm going to throw a jab in here and say something absolutely fucking horrible. Thankfully, the pros and the seasoned people know that's what happens at first, and they just let it go. Because if not, I wouldn't.
I don't feel like they ever let it go for me. I feel like they were like, you know, because I was always pretty like biting. And it was so cringy at first because like I would like go from like nailing a one-liner, but then I'd go to the well too often and it would fall flat.
I'd say
and
66.
my beardless little fucking dumbass face is just sitting there like you could tell I'm getting a little annoyed because no one's laughing at the joke. Like
66.6% of us let it go.
Yeah,
33 and a third might not have.
Dude, I'm not even the same human being. I can't even imagine getting mad on a podcast anymore. And I was the guy that lost his temper and told Lachlan to go fuck himself like more than once, I think, on the podcast. And I honestly don't recognize that guy. I would never get mad ever again. If Lachlan was like, listen, I honestly don't value as a human being and I'm being serious, I would be like, well, fucking bless your heart for being honest. Like
sure.
You know, but it wouldn't bother. It wasn't passive aggressive. It would just be like, you know, okay, like what's the point, you know? Like of getting angry at people, you know, you just
and a lot of people and this again, how this, and I hate giving it up, but this is how the sausage is made. You have to understand what Lachlan is on the show, and it's funny how it's his analogy that actually I'll use to tell you, because I've learned a lot. Like I learned a lot from Dean, obviously, but Lachlan's my go-to when it comes to content stuff. And we talk about, like when I was talking about the touching the audience thing earlier, that comes from him. Like we talked about that in depth at one point. And Lachlan has a theory. Has he ever told you the dick?
Yeah.
The dork.
I was the deer.
And the doe.
I was the deer.
The dick, the dork, and the deer.
Yeah.
And you need to have a dick, you need to have a dork, and you need to have a deer. And now I'm the deer, apparently. And
yeah, I liked
dork.
that conversation when Lachlan told me about that. But I grew to disagree with it because
I think so.
I do, because it is difficult to when you're not a guy who's been on the radio for 2 decades to not like accidentally once in a while try to be the deer, even subconsciously, because you know the deer box is there for you. And it's like, and that's the way my mind worked anyways. So it kind of fucked me up.
So you sat in it then, like you didn't just let it happen.
A little bit. Like, dude, you know what it was? Like sometimes it was like, I think the tone that person just used with me was like 29% of the tone that they use with Bonzi when they're making fun of him. And I don't fucking like that. Like I would have those kind of thoughts.
So you overanalyze the analogy. I get it. Yeah. And it sticks in your head. And you're right. And you'll start to act towards that. Right. I just notice it happens naturally with us, where I'll have something fucking fire to fucking shoot back to be the dick.
Mhm.
Or I will have a really funny thing I could say to be the dork. And I'll hold it back and say here's the factual thing, and I'll try and make it witty to make it a little funny, to make me somewhat relatable. So I get that. I get where you're kind of conscious of it, but I think you do fall into a place in a show like that. I think there's like, if you listen to like Lachlan's show on the radio, he's a totally different guy. It's hilarious to
I know.
listen to the juxtaposition of him on the podcast to the radio. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it totally
know?
is. I actually think that like totally 100% serious here. When
Yeah.
we have shows that require the most curiosity from a journalism perspective,
Yeah.
he nails it over everyone. Like
I
when
agree.
when we had David Wallace on the show the first time, and as Lachlan would put it, fire hosing us with one scandal after another, he
Yeah.
was right to be asking the exact questions. I don't remember what they were, but the exact questions that he asked, he was like, because every time he would ask, I'd be like, well, there goes the question I was going to ask, because
Mhm.
that's what I wanted to know too.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with him, with the convoy stuff, when you guys talk about that, I notice I agree with him, mostly because I said the same shit like a year and a half ago. Like, and I'm not saying he did anything.
No, you're right.
I'm saying we're on the same page, I think.
Maybe you
right?
soaked in a bit.
No, I think Lachlan and I probably have more in common politically than you and
I agree.
Dean.
That
Yeah.
no, I think Dean and I are more aligned, and you and Lachlan are actually more aligned, to tell you the truth.
Oh yeah.
When it comes politically.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Because I don't think that every convoy person that went to the protest is a fucking piece of shit, right? Like I just don't.
I think they're all dumb. I think every one of them is dumb. I just don't think they're all a piece of shit.
I don't think every one
People
of them
can be
is
dumb and
either.
nice at the same time. So
I know like progressives or apathetic moderates, if they were to choose, that were there for like 2 days. They
Yeah.
didn't sleep there, but they were there until like midnight, from like, noon to midnight, let's just say.
yeah.
And they were like, we didn't see any violence. We didn't see any fucking like, crazy looting or vandalism. Blah, blah, blah. And they are right about that. The thing that made the truckers really awful was the trucks. If the trucks were not there and it was just the people and maybe tents or some shit like that, it probably would have been a little bit more violent, but like it would have been like, what would you hang your hat on at that point then, when the trucks are gone?
Yeah.
And I think people don't like the thing that they stood for so much that they can taste it. And then everything they look at is through that lens. And so everything becomes like a horrible thing to do. But if you took them and changed them to Black Lives Matter protests and kept every single thing that they did the same, the media would be calling it a grand success because it was a peaceful protest. They would. It was the trucks and the honking that made it what it was.
We're gonna agree to disagree on that, and we always will, because I think you're right on one thing, and I think that is, if we would have taken the attention from the expected violence out of the protest,
But
we actually focus
expected violence. What do you mean?
No,
by that?
I said if we took the attention away from that, if the media wouldn't have said, oh, well, this could turn violent, this could be bad, this could be, and they actually just kind of focused on what was happening to Ottawa's local economy, what was happening to Ottawa's local residents, what was happening to Ottawa, what was actually happening, rather than pontificating what could happen. I think the fence sitters might have actually sided a bit more with the residents of Ottawa and the people that said, this is a bunch of bullshit, clear them the fuck out. How are they still allowing this to be a thing? Who cares about and I'm going to say it, who cares about the trucks? Who cares about the honking? I wasn't there, and I get it. It was probably fucking horrible. But I'm talking about what the attention to the actual problem. And if you would have kept your fucking eyes off the honking and onto the actual issue,
yeah,
that would have probably won a lot more of this country over, because they all would have went, who gives a shit about the honk? Because that's what most people were like, oh, it's honking trucks. Yeah, you're not in it.
Yeah.
So you don't give a fuck. So yeah, let's look at the actual problems of services being fucking denied to fucking Ottawa residents. to 911 operators being flooded with fucking bullshit calls, to ambulances not being able to get to places, to
but that is literally the
city
trucks.
buses, to businesses not being able to open for 3 fucking weeks and having to rely on now bailouts that are costing us in the billions of dollars in tax money to actually fucking make them whole again. If we all just kind of looked at those instead of the honking trucks and the stupid asshole that's out there with a big fuck Trudeau flag and a fucking stupid face paint and whatever, maybe we and I'm looking at it from more of a reserved, hoping for an educated, subdued response where everybody could have went, oh fuck yeah, this is bad, we should really fucking shut this down or move it, at least move it to somewhere where it's not impeding on Mike's convenience on the corner, that's trying to sell cigarettes and fucking lottery tickets, and Cadillac Fairview that lost literally $1 million a day in and that's the capitalist revenue. Not talking about all the jobs, the people that have fucking jobs that work in retail that are already fucking scraping by in this economy before COVID, during COVID, they lifted the lockdowns. You can come back to your job at the mall that gets paid shitty and you can barely fucking afford your shit. Oh, stay home for another 3 weeks because these fuckwads are out here closing everything. So if we looked at that shit and not the horn honking and not the grandstanding and the sensationalized fucking block it, whatever the fuck, yeah, like I don't even know what you call it.
Like the Nazi thing. I'm like, again, since I never think I have to pick that side or that side. I never think that. So to me, the honking and the trucks being there, period, were the crux of every single problem because that was what people complained about, and it didn't feel like a march anymore. It felt like an occupation. So that to me was really awful.
And that could have happened with a Toyota Corolla and a tent and a hot tub. And trucks or no trucks, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was,
but the hot tub guy,
hyper focus.
The hot tub guy,
hyper focus,
and the guy waving the Nazi flag, I don't have to say are on the same team. No. And I you know what? I would like technology to do us all a favor. So say we have like a protest at Dundas Square or something in Toronto, and it's like a right-wing protest. I want to put drones in the sky and then have guys walking around, and whenever they see a guy holding a Nazi flag, they tag him. Without them knowing. And so that we can decide out of the 10,000 people in Dundas Square, 3 people have Nazi flags. It's not a Nazi rally. It's still problematic, but let's not blow it out of proportion and call all these people fucking Nazis. Like, I wish for that sort of accuracy, you know, like.
I agree. And I get where they were coming from. It was like, how do you cover, and think about it from a media perspective, because you've been there. How do you cover that flag waving, or those flags being there without grandstanding it in the media?
Well, there's another motivation for the grandstanding. I heard this from 2 reporters, and it's that he's like, dude, how do you think it felt when you're holding a camera and your reporter is holding a mic that says CTV or CBC or Global? He's like, all we did was get sworn at and called names basically the entire time we were there. And so he's like, yeah, so the footage that people saw in the news was filtered through animosity of the actual crew and reporter who were being verbally abused the entire time they were there because they were the lamestream media, right? Like, so
that's it. So the other side of that coin, and I agree, I totally agree, like those guys are getting spit on. Like, look, what was it, McEachran got fucking spit on live TV and shoved and pushed and whatever. And yes, they're putting themselves in that position to get the story, and I get that. That's fine. But then on the other side of the coin, where they try to deny all the wrongdoings and the problems that were happening from their own live streams, their own phones, the actual convoy people Facebook live streaming their own things, and then so it's like, okay, let's not look at CTV or CBC or whoever is there, Global. Throw them all out. Let's just watch your phone. Let's watch what you recorded on your phone. And now you're going to tell me that's fake news because I'm reporting back to you now. I'm actually commentating on what you have filmed, which is what Karima did. And now we're
But she
fake
was
news.
calm, but she was calm. She wasn't screaming at people. Like
That's what I
I
mean.
know people hate it when I make this example, but it actually proves my point, which is that it's not how they protested, it's what they were protesting.
Yep.
Because we all thought that when George Floyd got murdered by that cop, that there should obviously be protests. But the media went out of its way to say they were largely peaceful protests when buildings were literally on fire in the background and like, you know, blocks were destroyed. Imagine if blocks of Ottawa were destroyed. It's not about how they protested. It's about what they were protesting. It really is. Like, there's no way
I think it was about.
That.
You're right. I agree. I agree on that point. Absolutely. But those protests, the George Floyd protests, didn't last continually in one space for 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
any of them did not.
Do you remember though? Like there was a
Oh,
pocket
absolutely, for 2 or 3 days. Absolutely.
No,
yep.
for like a month.
No,
for like California.
Not for. They did not shut down a city block or 3 major city blocks for a month.
That's exactly what they did in Portland. Exactly what they did, and it was for like I think like 2 weeks. A lawless.
Okay, so 2 weeks. All right, so let's look at this now. Let's look.
People were killed, dude.
And I'm not saying that is a justifiable thing to do at all. 100%. Okay. So if we're gonna compare these things, we also have to look at the fact of, okay, so let's bring it right back to the origin of the complaint.
The George Floyd thing.
Right. Oh, so George Floyd
sparked off the Black Lives Matter protests, which sprung off other protests, I would say.
And John can't work at Montana's because they want a vaccine in a private business.
That's exactly my point.
Trudeau's fault.
That's exactly my point. So
exactly,
pushing the envelope depends on how righteous your cause is, I would say.
Do you not think that is at least somewhat considerable at this point?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you
all.
Not really. I think that if you have a point to make, you've already traversed half the battlefield, and now what you need to do is try your best to bring awareness to it. I think that when we start excusing anger that manifests in violence, that we're actually not even doing the person who committed violence a favor. Okay. You know, like you ever have that friend that that no matter how bad you fuck up, he's just like, he supports you. That's not really a friend. A friend is going to take your side and be like, you're being a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can hang with you if you're going to continue to be a moron like this. That's your buddy for life, right?
That's a real friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like dude, it was surreal. And because crazy right wingers make this point, everyone on the left is like, well, then it can't be a good point. But when CNN reporters are sitting there like this, and there's literally city blocks on fire in the back, and they use words like, you know, it's a largely peaceful protest. You know, there is a little bit of carnage, but you know, like it's largely peaceful. Dude,
yeah.
And then that's a
media swing, though. That's a media swing. I'm just talking about the actual origin of a protest, the origin of where it sparks from. And I think there should be a bit of credibility to your cause. And if there's not, then you should be shut. It should literally be shut down. And I'm sorry. Yes, we have the right to protest whatever the fuck we want in this country. You're absolutely right. But the minute that it impedes on everybody else's rights, freedoms, and enjoyment of this great country we live in, that's a problem.
It is a problem. I think that, remember we used to talk about how the grifters are the main problem? Because it's hard to and this is going to sound like a really asshole thing to say, mostly because it absolutely is. But I can't help but obviously feel like the Aprils of the world don't really have the capacity to do research and to do all that. I think we would benefit from a series of, and let's not call them debates, but let's just call them conversations or something. Okay. You know how the really far left are like, debates are a product of white supremacy. I totally thought they were out to lunch every time I heard them say that. But you know what it is? They're actually right. The way that typical debates are formatted with the resolution states, that shit does seem elitist to me. It seems ridiculous to me. But just having two guys to talk about mRNA vaccinations and then have people like sitting in front of them that are fact finders based on what they're talking about, so we can real time check facts and all this. I think we need to do that and spoon feed people the truth about certain things. I really do. I think we've never tried that, and we always think of debates as arguing instead of actually talking about stuff.
Like a conversation, yeah. Like, and you're right. And this is where that extreme thing comes in. And people don't realize, they get caught up, especially spectators. The spectators of this life get caught up in focusing on what's happening on the extreme sides of both, like the left and the right. Right. So
I'm guilty of that.
So am I. Absolutely. We're totally, dude. It's a click farm when we do shit like this. Like, this is what we do, right? So
Dude, I love that shit so much that my guest tomorrow is a woman by the name of Elan Bouzetti, who wrote a big essay in a book about left extremists and right extremists recently, and she can barely even speak English. But I love that topic so much that I'm just having her on anyways.
I love it. I love it, and you know what? It'll be a great topic. And again, we can still have conversations. They were a thing before 2019. Now all of a sudden, we can't have conversations anymore, and that's a problem. And why we lost that ability to have it. And social media is a big problem. Comment sections. I swear to God, social media is great. If we just got rid of the comments, it'd be fantastic. We'd have a great time. We could show our pictures of our dogs. We could show our pictures of our food. We could show our pictures of.
I don't allow comments on my site. On Blackballed Media, I don't allow. I actually
limited the Dean Lundell Network YouTube a month ago for posts. Like, live comments are different, but post, like, once it posts, those comments are now very heavily either moderated or they're declined, because it's not productive. It's just not. When you're not, like, when you and I are having this conversation and people are in the side, like every once in a while I'll glance over and see, like, people are talking. Once this is done, the people that talk like 2 weeks down the road, they don't matter. They're not part of the conversation anymore. We might be able to pull in, like, hey, Barry Cook has a great point. I'm going to put his comments up and we'll talk about it. Then that way it's part of the conversation. You're now part of the environment, and the environment that is of hopefully in goodwill for a conversation to get something fruitful and positive. At least, even if it's an opposing opinion, we can at least learn from it. But 2 weeks from now, when somebody says, in 2 weeks from now, when somebody comments and says, Lindley's a fucking liberal piece of shit, cuck piece of shit, blah, 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 Dean fucking pedophile, fucking homophobic, blah, blah, blah. It's not productive. It doesn't do anything to move the conversation forward. And it just fuels that blindness where, like, we're in tune to it because we do it. Like, this is what we do this is what we do. They're not, like, the general viewer is not that person. They're just there to, like, bang out, I'm gonna vomit this comment out, positive or negative, because the positive ones make me actually more. I'm the worst person to take a compliment. I can't. I'll talk about me. Dean said it the other day perfectly. I'll say nice things about me. Don't you fucking say something nice about me. I can't deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do that. And it's true. So, and it's just, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. Like, and then they just fight amongst each other in the comments. And I'll come back to go and, like, do some, like, maintenance on the channel and see there's 750 new comments. And I look and I'm like, they're just fighting with each other over shit we said. It was me and you talking, or it was me and Lachlan talking. Why are you guys fighting about what we were talking about?
I can always tell when you've had enough. You're like, because I remember that during that one thread about whether or not Matt Walsh was a pedophile. I literally and I told Dean this on the phone later. I was like, I did have a brief moment before I hit send where I was like, is this going to cause something? And then the guy over here was in my head was just like, did you mean anything by it? No. Will he take it that way? Well, he might, but I didn't mean anything by it. So that should trump whatever he thinks, right? And then I hit send, and you were like, what the fuck, dude?
I gotta go.
And then you said, you went like this, respectfully, maybe you need to go play outside or something like that. I was just like,
I was trying to find a way. I forgot about the touch grass. Touch grass is my new favorite one. Go outside, touch grass, smell the air.
Oh, I know what it was. I was like, and I did this to be sort of a dick a little bit. I was like, actually, pedophilia is the attraction to prepubescent children, while hebephilia is an attraction to teenage.
Are you reading this? Do you have
No,
this,
I just knew that, right? Because my
maybe
buddy,
I know you.
my buddy, like,
You
who
got
I
all the
don't talk-
receipts.
No, because my buddy, who I don't talk to anymore, like, was proud when he told me he was living in Mexico, and he's like, yeah, his parents gave me permission to like marry their daughter, and I was like, well, how old is she? It's like, she turned 16 about a month ago, and I was just like, what the
Jesus.
fuck? Why are you admitting this to me? What, man? They just do it differently down here. I'm like, they pimp their children to people like you? Like, Jesus Christ. First of all, you're a former rave promoter. Second of all, and I hate that I know this, your penis is like 10 inches long because I went to rave after parties.
Do you
and
get
polluting this poor child? Like, and so anyways, I looked it up because I was like, what do you call a guy like
so
that?
like successful chinchilla farm they traded for it, or like what
God, I couldn't
happened?
believe what I was hearing. Like, I was just like, this is gross. Like,
That is
so
gross.
yeah, hebephilia is when you're attracted to,
I-
and that's why I've
I-
always been like lucky. No one could ever accuse me of trying to like get with a young girl, because if you don't have wrinkles and baggage that are on wheels and
Yeah.
know what mash is, I probably don't want to sleep with you. Like,
You know what mash is? do 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 do
Yeah.
do do. Yeah, no,
I'm gonna interview Alan Alda because of
Suicide is painless. That was the name of that song, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, the actual name of the MASH theme song was "Suicide is Painless."
I was also partial to Hill Street Blues. I love that piano.
oh, no kidding, and that was a great show too.
I never watched the show. I just watched the intro and then.
Did you ever watch NYPD Blue?
I did.
Do you know what that was? Did you know that was actually groundbreaking television? Did you know why?
Because of Chris Noth's ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was the first time you've ever seen first-person camera on network television, where they actually follow you. They followed the person with one camera.
Get the
That
fuck
was
out of here.
NYPD Blue was first-person camera television. That was a debut for that. Just
So
a
you're
weird
always the
fucking
person
fact.
that they're
This is
talking
why
to?
I can't do math, because shit like that lives in my head. I can't remember people's birthdays because that lives there. There's
Yeah.
only so much room, right? So
There is. All right, buddy. Well, listen.
this
thank you
was fun.
This is fun. See, I kind of miss doing this, anyways. Like, I'm always so serious and talking to Nazis and shit. Like, like
We
I
should
never
do
get
this
to
every
actually-
once in a while. And I
We
think
should.
the audience liked it.
I think so. I
You
hope
guys
so.
like this?
You guys think it was okay?
Was it okay? Can we do this again? Should we do this again?
Can we work out more stuff on air?
We're gonna look at the comments now awkwardly and keep it silent.
That's what
while I
pissed me
look.
off, because I
know.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to look at the comments and not get distracted today. So I go click to the comments, and all I see is, well, that's about enough Nazi I can take. I'm leaving now, everybody. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
Actually, I know what my comment was. It's feeling kind of 1930s in here. I'm out. That's what I said. I remember it verbatim.
I didn't even want to be Churchill in that situation. I don't know who the fuck I'd be in that situation.
Yeah.
In the 30s. Yeah, no, but it was but
this
yeah,
is great.
honestly, I think
Let's do this again.
I said that thing at the end of the show, but I just want to let you know that as soon as I went off air, it was totally forgotten. Typified by the fact that I like to tweet strategically like 10 minutes later.
And that's why I tweeted and I replied to Abby's tweet strategically to make sure that we knew that we were okay.
We're never gonna have a show. We're
I know.
never gonna have a show. I can't argue.
You
with
will
that.
have a show. I'm going to make this happen.
You know what that argument was about on my end? The definition of the word discourse.
I love how you guys, because it's the same as you and I with that stupid Matt Walsh thing. You are fucking brutal when it comes to and I love it. And it would make a good show. If
I
you
don't think
guys
so. Like,
can-
it would only make a good show if she was like going into it knowing that I'm going to treat her like I would treat a guy. Like, there's not going to
Yeah.
be any chivalry on that show.
no,
I won't make
no.
sex jokes and
And
stuff to demean her
Abby
femininity.
Abby can hold her own. Abby's
Yeah,
great.
but
when it
I'm a
comes-
former rap battler. I don't settle for stupid head when someone calls me a dick. I go for the fucking. I'm like, well, what's a million times worse than a dick? You know?
Wow.
Yeah. This guy's
but
so corny. Ethanol
you're-
companies retraces his steps when he spits. Like that's the way I like to approach things. You know?
Wow. That's like 5 levels deep in that, where the corn ethanol comes from. Like that's pretty good.
That's right.
That's
the
wow.
rap battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you, man. Thank you for doing
Thank
this.
you.
This is like old times. I appreciate
This
it. I
is-
would do this once a week and
I'm
just
down.
rotate people in and out because except for Ashley, if she's going to be on audio, that just seemed weird. Like she's like, is this
She
the right
just
number
wanted
for
to
the air
show.
duct
She wanted to
cleaner?
show because. Well, no, you know
I'm just
JB,
kidding,
the
dude.
guy
I
that
love
does the
Ashley.
TikTok stuff that does stuff with us sometimes. JB does a show where he has live guests pop in, and 9 times out of 10 they don't have a camera on, and they will look like that, and they're just there to talk because they don't want their face on, because they will be saying some usually controversial or opposing opinion views that may not be great, because you notice most of those people that are on the extremes are anonymous. So to give them that idea that they can be anonymous, you'll get people. If you be careful what you wish for. If
I
you
know.
want to
Are
do
you still
this.
watching Hallmark movies, Ryan? Are you still doing that?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
oh, you
dude.
are. Okay.
Oh my God,
I was going to
fucking
suggest
love
that
it.
Athlete withhold sex from you unless you watch it if you hated it, but
Love
now
it.
that doesn't work.
Dude.
No,
I
wait,
was
actually,
yelling.
withhold sex if he enjoys watching it. So then now you can't watch it, or else you can't.
I was yelling the other night. She was upstairs in the tub, and I was downstairs, and I ended up live tweeting because I was so angry at this lady that should have known that her like childhood friend was her love, and she went for the other guy that was on the news. He was a sportscaster, and he was a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't meant to be. And the other guy was such a hometown little dude, and he was
Maybe
so
the
nice.
woman is emotionally
so mad.
bankrupt and she just wanted something that she didn't have to think about too much.
Did you know that there's one out there now with Lindsay Lohan is in a Christmas
Sold.
movie where
Sold.
she has brain damage.
Is it
Let
a
me finish.
documentary? Oh, sorry.
Let me finish.
Okay.
She has brain damage, and she ends up and we figured this out. They're all Evergreen, Vermont. That's where they all are based.
That is the
with the
whitest
red
thing
truck,
I've ever heard. But yeah,
right?
okay.
And she meets a guy. She has no memory of anything whatsoever. So I said we should have rewrote the plot where like John learns how to love again while Lindsay Lohan learns how to eat soup again. But they get together in Evergreen, Vermont, and yeah,
She has like Dory's memory, you know?
you
Oh,
can't
hi,
you
I'm
can't
Julie.
not.
10 minutes
It's like
later,
a car
oh,
accident.
hi,
It's
I'm Julie.
it's a car accident. It's 51st Dates, but in Christmas movie bullshit form. And it's so bad it's good, and you get sucked in. I swear to James,
I can't do it.
shut your judgment off and just do it just for one from start. You have to start at the start. Don't go in the middle, because I wouldn't watch it from, but I got sucked
In the middle.
from
What do you mean?
beginning.
Like these are movies, not I'm not going to do a series.
They're an
No,
hour
seriously.
long. They're usually an hour
okay.
long. Start at the beginning of one and let it go. Just watch and just let yourself be taken over by the absurdity and the fucking horrible acting. And I swear to God, 5 hours later, you'll be on the phone with me going, "You son of a bitch, I'm hooked."
I used to watch Another
For
World.
me.
I watched Another World until it went off the air. Like I watched, I liked
Yeah.
Felicia and Cass and all those characters. And, I was like,
You'll
what is
love it.
going on? Why does it take 18 weeks to do 8 hours of content?
You will love it. I promise.
Okay. I will try. I'll do it for you. I
Good.
might masturbate to it just to see if that works. I really like sweaters a lot, so we'll see how it goes.
Good.
See, I
See you,
ruin
pal.
shows like that. See, I'm gonna cut that part out.
See you, buddy.
Ryan Lindley, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Take care, dude.
Cheers. Okay. Yeah, I know I blew it with the masturbation joke, but it's like an hour and 57 minutes in. Is anyone even really still listening? Yeah, that was fun. I appreciate everybody kind of like allowing me to do this. Like, I think it was like a way to decompress. I did 15 podcasts in 15 days or some shit like that. And it, don't get me wrong. I loved every interview. I enjoyed it. But it was, plus I'm writing a book, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm certainly not complaining, but I am, working a ton, and, I'm not going to take a step back. But I'm probably not going to try so hard to like, make sure every single day has a guest, because it takes a lot out of you. But what I might do instead is if I do 3 guests a week and or whatever. I've been doing 5 a week or 6 a week for the last month. But instead, let's say I do 4. The 5th show can be something like this, just hanging out, this way I can also directly compete with the Dean Blundell show and then surpass them eventually because, because the content is so good. And I never use the word wiener. No, I'm just kidding. I love the Dean Blundell show still. It's a great show. It's part of my day. Best training ground ever. And I love those guys. It's a dope show. And hopefully my show will be just as dope one day. I'm really happy that I did this. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't have anything else to say except I don't have any guests booked for Thursday and Friday or Saturday. Oh, no, wait. Tomorrow I have the French lady that wrote the stuff about the left and right. Hello. Buzetti. Hello, Buzetti. And then I have on Sunday, I have the Ukrainian politician, and her name is, I don't want to get it wrong. Sorry, guys. Kira Ruddick. She's the, and this is the best way I know how to describe her. She is the Ukrainian female politician who looks a little bit like that tennis player, Anna Kournikova, who you may have seen in photos carrying like an M16 or whatever, a machine gun. She seems like ridiculously intelligent as well, which actually makes me think that posing with the gun is a little lame, but whatever. And she's a country at war. I get it. And she is also considered to be one of the most influential women in Ukraine and the second most popular politician next to Zelensky. So she was kind of a real coup. It's going to be 11 at night where she is. And, there's going to be blackouts and stuff like that are happening around that time. So I'm sending them the link like hours and hours beforehand. And she's going to make it work. And also Alex D, who Dean and them normally talk to from Ukraine, that we do some of that fundraising for, is going to be on the show right after she gets off. He actually volunteered for that politician's campaign in 2019 when she first ran. So that should be fun. And then we have the not controversial at all, Megan Murphy. She's the former editor, of the Feminist Current. And she got in a lot of trouble for misgendering Jessica Yaniv, who I will dead name because I don't actually think this person is trans. I think they co-opt the trans identity to victimize women because they have a history of doing that exact thing. Jonathan Yaniv, the Wax My Balls guy, that then said that he was Jessica Yaniv, but still tried to victimize several women, especially online. She misgendered that person and Twitter banned her for life. She was like one of the first to get banned. And that is clearly ridiculous, no matter what side of the fence you roll with. And it'll be an interesting conversation. They tried to ban her. John Tory spoke out about her when she was supposed to speak at a library. And he kind of railed against her publicly. And then the librarian was like, she has not been charged with any type of crime, including any type of hate crime. She's never been arrested. She's never been fined. So on what grounds do I have to not allow her to talk there and rent the space? And she was absolutely right. And so she'll be on the 5th. And my voice is starting to go, so I'm going to leave now. But honestly, thank you very much once again for joining me. And we will see. You guys always know when I do this that I'm getting my file from the thing so I can play my outro, right? You know that. I know you do. We'll see you next time on Blackballed.
Blackballed. Blackballed. Blackballed. Blackballed.